Hey guys, it's Kara. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about things that I wish I knew when I was applying to audiology schools. It was really confusing. I really didn't know what to expect, and I just wanted to give some advice that I wish I had. So starting off, how do you pick which programs to apply to? This was probably my first biggest problem because there's not that many, at least compared to like SLP, but there are a good amount of audiology programs. I just didn't even know where to start. So I decided that I was going to mostly apply in the Midwest, which is, I'm from Illinois, so it's around my home. And I did apply to AuD, which is in Washington, D.C., just because I was interested in actually like going to that school. But mostly I applied in the Midwest. So I ended up applying to 6 audiology programs. I applied to University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which is where I ended up going. I applied to WashU, AuD, Missouri State, Illinois State, and University of Iowa. Out of those 6, I got accepted to 5. I did not get accepted to Iowa. Really, location played a big role for me in which schools I was going to apply to. There was also a couple other things that I was taking into consideration. First of all, I would look and see if the program was 3 years or 4 years, because initially I really wanted to go to a 3-year program because I just wanted to get my schooling over with as quick as possible. Not because I wasn't looking forward to it, but it was more from like a financial aspect. I did end up going to a 4-year program, and I am very happy with that decision. You have more time to learn the information, which I think has been very beneficial. Next, I looked and see the school had a clinic or campus / what were their clinical experiences. Something I took into consideration. It wasn't like a yay or nay. Next, I would look into the price and the financial aid. The only in-state school I applied to was Illinois State. So I really had to look at the prices of these schools. I looked into like also GA positions, scholarships. Finances ended up being a big deciding factor for me. The further I got into my application experiences, the more finances took a lead in importance. And finally, I would look at the praxis pass rate for all the audiology programs I applied to or was thinking about applying to. I thought that was a pretty decent indicator on how good the program was. If a school had a lower praxis pass rate, then I would note that. Next, you have to start actually applying to these schools. And there's 2 ways typically applications go for audiology. Either you apply through and I can never pronounce it. Oh my god, I got it. Either you apply through the CIDCAS. So CIDCAS is the common app for anything communication disorders, so typically SLP and audiology. That way, you can fill out the common information and then send it to multiple schools. There are some programs that don't use the CIDCAS. The one that I'm actually currently at, UNL, they did not use the CIDCAS, so I had to apply through a different application for them. Another thing is, particularly I remember this for University of Iowa, you had to apply to the graduate school, and then once you got accepted to the graduate school, then you could apply to the audiology program. So that is something also to look for and to note, because you have to apply to the graduate school early. I think they usually have an earlier deadline if I remember correctly. Also, you need to start thinking about letters of recommendation early. I ended up doing 2 of my professors, my communication disorders professors. My 3rd one was my advisor for my dance team. I kind of liked the 2 professors and the advisor because I thought it gave schools a more well-rounded view of me. Now my advisor I chose because I had a leadership role in that organization. I thought she could really speak on more of those skills that they ask you about typically in interviews, communicating, conflict resolution, organization, stuff like that. Definitely reach out to those professors that are actually relevant to the field, to audiology, to communication disorders. My 3rd piece of advice is to really connect with the schools that you're applying to on your own. So I would say email them. They always have contact information. Visit them before open houses, if you're really interested. A lot of them, they have ways for you to reach out to current students, but also, I've had a lot of students reach out to me through like TikTok and Instagram, ask me questions about applying to audiology schools or why I decided my program was the best fit. The more you reach out, the more you make yourself known, the better connection you will end up having with those schools. I know that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get accepted, but guess that it will help you with that connection. The fourth thing I want to talk about is interviews, which I know are going on right now, and how to prepare for an interview. First, I would say go through your application and see what you wrote. See what they already know about you, and a lot of times the application questions and the interview questions kind of like they overlap. Me personally, I didn't want to give them an answer in the interview that contradicted what I said in my application by accident. So I would go through my application and see what I wrote about like why I wanted to attend that program, which brings me to my second point. One question I was asked in every single one of my interviews is, why do you want to attend this program? I mean, it's a valid question, you know, like why did you apply? And for that, I would say really make sure you've done your research on what makes this program that you're applying to unique. What are they known for? Is there a certain clinical experience? Is there a certain professor that does a certain type of research that you want to get involved in? Just be prepared to answer that question, because if you don't have an answer to that question, that's not good. And then finally, have at least one question prepared. I mean, it's okay if you don't have any questions, but they always ask if you have any questions. And in my mind, if I didn't have questions, it indicated that I wasn't interested, which I know is not true, but avoid awkwardness, I would always have questions prepared. And you know what? Sometimes I did actually legitimately have questions. Also, I do want to say some interviews are asynchronous, which I did not realize before applying to audiology programs. That kind of took me off guard. And then finally, I wanted to just put some resources out that I use. So first, there's actually a Reddit thread channel that is for audiology grad schools, and I was on that constantly through applications. It's kind of like good and bad. You get a lot of information, but it also kind of will like stress you out a little bit, so you have to be careful. But people are kind of talking about like, oh, they just heard from this school, and oh, has anyone heard from this school, or oh, do you have like any advice, or things like that. I thought overall it was a very helpful resource, as long as you didn't overthink what was happening in the Reddit. And then finally, I used something called Grad Cafe, which provided a lot of information about programs, cohort size, practice pass rates, things like that. Honestly, application season is crazy, but you get through it, you find a program that you love, and it all works out. Good luck to anyone who is going through that, or if you're thinking about going to audiology school. First of all, you're making a very good choice. Second of all, you'll get through the season of life when you reach it. All right, bye guys.